This is the second backward step Bunnings has had, cancelling the snags, and last year they cancelled onion on the snags. It's fucking disgusting. Good evening, you hot bits of gear. The Buttsman here, and in a world of turmoil, terror and fear, there is one thing that is still held sacred amongst our YouTube community. May it never fail. And that is the Butterfield News Broadcast Service Systems. Ladies and gentlemen, hit that music. In something completely different, let's talk about the coronavirus. I know no one's really talking about it anymore. Let's talk about it right now. We are seeing unprecedented time. The media is running 5,000 stories every single night.
Australia has recorded its biggest one-day spike in cases since the outbreak began. Almost 100 more people testing positive nationwide in 24 hours.
And tonight, cases in Italy continue to soar.
It's an Australia no one thought we'd ever see. An invisible threat prompting shameful behaviour and panicking people to breaking point.
Well, the number of worldwide cases of coronavirus has now topped 200,000.
There is breaking news this afternoon on the coronavirus outbreak. This is what you need to know.
And they're throwing in terrifying music like a horror film just to freak people out. We're seeing dumb chicks like this one on TikTok who is a self-defined clout chaser. She even appeared on Dr. Phil, right? Now, this 22-year-old who has allegedly a fully formed prefrontal cortex, she licked a fucking toilet seat. Not just any toilet seat either. It was on a plane. Do you know how dirty those plane toilet seats are? Like, okay, we all know that I'm tall, right? I'm 6'8". When I piss in a toilet on any day, it's tough. It's a high altitude to aim from. But on a toilet, I'm just fucking doing these ones. What a fucking dumb bitch. Are you serious, mate? But one of the scariest things that we face in Australia right now doesn't actually have anything to do with the virus at all. It has to do with all the Australian people being at home at the same time. It's the internet. The internet. It is fucked. It's running slow. Everyone's using too much of it. If you're not from Australia, you don't know what I'm talking about. Here we have something called the National Broadband Network, the NBN. It was set out by the Australian government at the time to come into fruition, and it would change the way we operate as a people. People would be able to use the internet at higher speeds, and we would be one of the leaders in the world. Now, the government changed their mind at some point, and then they decided it was going to cost too much money, so they'd do fucking half a job. Not even half a job, 10% of a job. And now we're all stuck with fucking dial-up speeds down here. It's bullshit. I'm pretty sure Uzbekistan, or somewhere that I've never been and never want to go to, has faster internet than one of the greatest nations on earth. It's fucking disgusting. The NBN is now in the same corner as the coronavirus. Everyone fucking hates... I think the people of Australia hate the NBN more than they do the coronavirus, to be honest. And then there was this Australian Instagram model who really fucking nailed it. Fuck me dead. Kiralee Benez, she's not really a model. She just gets her tits out on Instagram. Good on ya, I guess. She went to a bar last week and wasn't happy with the service at the bar, so she posted an Instagram photo, and on that Instagram photo she said, "I know who I'm going to sneeze on first when I catch corona." Now, I don't really give a shit about that. What I do give a shit about is the fact that she copped a little bit of shit about it, and she decided to delete the post. If you're going to threaten people, if you're going to say that I'm going to do all these things, these evil things, like sneeze on people, you leave that threat out there, love. You don't be such a pussy, all right? If you're going to sneeze on people, go through with it. In happy news, though, Tom Hanks has made it out of hospital. He no longer has the Rona, and it's very, very positive news for everybody. Interestingly, though, the Australian media really didn't report on it. And I thought that was really strange because there was this big beat up in the media about when he had it. Everyone was talking about it. It was the top story on every news program in the country. And now that he doesn't have it anymore, no one cared or even announced it. So make of that what you will. But in the most devastating news that I have ever heard in my entire existence on this earth, Bunnings has cancelled Bunnings snags for the foreseeable future. The sausage sizzle is more Australian than Australia, all right? And Bunnings, if you don't know what Bunnings is, it's a hardware store, right? Where people go to, and every time they go to it, it's a massive store. They go in there and they get a snag and they donate some money to charity and they get that snag, they consume it, and they're healthier and better for the experience. In fact, I've been doing some research into the Bunnings snag, and it goes back some time here. Aboriginal history tells a story of a great serpent in the Dreamtime slithering into an ancient Bunnings to pick up some paint for some DIY work, and having such a good time in the warehouse where lowest prices are just the beginning that the serpent decided to stay there forever in small morsels of meat, more commonly known as sausages. Beautiful story, back 40,000 years. Bunnings manager director Mike Schneider came out and said it's a tough decision. It was made after speaking to community groups and finding out about the challenges they've been facing in recent weeks. Having listened closely to community groups, we've learned the challenges groups are facing with finding volunteers. People are worried about going and doing these barbecue events, and, rightfully so. Even getting supplies. I've noticed recently that all the meat is selling out at the supermarkets, which is actually quite terrifying. And I've said this about the whole coronavirus pandemic since the start. We are lucky that this is only going to kill, possibly 2 or 3% of the world's population, which is still a lot of people. But if we were facing something very, very serious, like, I don't know, like if Ebola really broke out, I think that had a fatality rate of 40%. People would be fighting in the streets. There would be riots. It would be absolute tyranny and anarchy. And I am thankful that this is not that. But it does sort of open up the mind to think about and feel anxious about what could happen in the future. I mean, thankfully, this is probably it for our generation, hopefully. But you just never know. Not to get too serious, but I have to get more serious for a second. This is the second backward step Bunnings has had, cancelling the snags. And last year they cancelled onion on the snags. It's fucking disgusting. I want to know this question, though, in the comments section. Please let me know what you think. With the Australian media constantly reporting on this, the news, on the TV, radio, in the print, and all those type of things, I've noticed that particularly with the nightly news broadcast, that hour is made up of half an hour of terrifying news, scare, fear-mongering. And to add on top of that, it has foreboding music, like a horror movie. I just want to know what you think below. I don't want to start spreading conspiracies or anything like that. And I certainly think this is a severe, serious issue that's facing everyone, and it's going to kill a lot of people. But why do you think the Australian media and the world media has decided to take that tone with this whole pandemic? That is the question I want to know down below. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Media stinks. And I'll see you all very soon. Toodaloo, bye.